In number 1, it says, describe the x-intercepts of the parabola. Young people, they actually provide a picture. What I'm looking for is a parabola crossing the x-axis. Notice that this parabola does not cross the x-axis at all. Okay? Therefore, there are no x-intercepts. Okay? No x-intercepts. Any questions? All right, for number 2, there was no instructions necessarily, but I can deduct that or deduce that the following function y equals the quantity of x plus 3 times the quantity of x minus 5. I can deduce that they want me to solve for x, okay? Looking at my answer choices. All right? All right, so when I heard someone say set it equal to 0, you're absolutely right. When they want me to solve this, I'm finding the roots, I'm finding the solutions, I'm finding the zeros. They call them zeros because I'm finding the x value when y is equal to 0. Okay? So I'm simply going to say 0 is equal to x plus 3 times x minus 5. Okay? And then I would take each factor and set it equal to 0. Very simply, I would have x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 5 equal to 0. Then I would subtract 3 from both sides here. X is equal to negative 3. And then I would add 5 to both sides here. X is equal to 5. And obviously, the answer would be answer choice B. Okay? Any questions or concerns? All right, number 3. It says, what are the vertex and axis of symmetry of the parabola y equals x squared minus 24x plus 143? Young people, we're going to use the axis of symmetry formula, which gives us our axis of symmetry, obviously, as well as the x value of our vertex. That's the easiest thing we could do. Now, yes, you could put this into vertex form, but I think that's just too much work for what this problem calls for, okay? So we're going to say x equals negative b over 2a, okay? So that's going to be negative 24 all over 2 times 1. Well, when I simplify this, I get a positive 24 over 2, so I have that x is equal to 12. Now, on the strength of, this is my axis of symmetry, y'all, okay? On the strength of my axis of symmetry, can I eliminate any of the answer choices? I can eliminate A because they say that the axis of symmetry was x equals negative 12, and that is certainly not the case. All right? All right? So now, young people, understand that I have, as soon as I find my axis of symmetry, it also serves as my x value in my vertex, does it not? Okay? Does anyone recall how I would find my y value? I hear you. Plug it in. Substitute. Yes. I would go back to my original equation, and everywhere I see an x, I'm replacing it with 12. Everyone has calculators on their desk. I need you to help me, please. Tell me what that quantity is equal to. Notice, everywhere I put it, I see an x, I'm replacing it with a 12. I heard someone say they got negative 1. Did anybody else get negative 1? Not yet? So, notice that we have 2 identical answers, right? Prayerfully, our test tomorrow will not have a similar situation. So the answer technically is B and D. Okay? Yes? Just circle both of them. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll make sure that in the key, if there is a duplicate answer, it'll be fine. Okay? Yes. No, I have the tutorial on Thursday. I changed it to Thursday. Okay? All right, any questions about this one? All right, moving on. All right, guys, in number 4. I have to pan out a little bit, y'all. All right, in number 4, guys, it says, which graph best represents the quadratic function x squared minus 2x minus 3? X squared minus 2x minus 3. Young people, the only one that I can, there's only one that I can eliminate. Which one do you think it is?
The one that's positive.
Why is it the one that's pointed down? What is my A value? It's a positive 1, right? So I can eliminate, this is the only one I can eliminate, okay? After this, if you're not strong at factoring and solving for x or solving for your zeros or your x-intercepts by factoring, then young people, just use the quadratic formula, okay? So the quadratic formula goes a little something like this. It says x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And that's all over 2a, right? So let's fill in the pieces. That'll be negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. Sorry, I'm running out of room. Excuse me? Okay, is that better? All over 2 times 1. We're going to simplify this. This will be 2 plus or minus, what is this, 4 plus 12, which is the square root of 16. Can I do that? And that's all over 2. All right? And that's going to be equal to, Liz, I'm sorry. So should I change colors? You okay? Are you lying? I'll change on the next problem. That'll fix you. All right. So this will be 2 plus or minus 4, right? All over 2. Okay. So I know my answer is going to be 2 plus 4 over 2 or 2 minus 4 over 2. Okay? What's 2 plus 4? Naturally, it's 6. And 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. Boom. And 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So I'm looking for a positive pointing parabola, a parabola pointing upward, okay, that crosses at 3, comma, negative 1. Huh. It ain't that one. That's 2 and 6, right? And it can't be that one. Where does this one cross the x-axis? I beg your pardon. Where does this one cross the x-axis? If y'all don't have eyes to see with, it doesn't cross it at all. Yes, ma'am. Okay, listen. Now, Liz, now listen. She said, I'm gonna fight her after school. That's all. So this one, I don't have eyes. I cannot. I'm not doing this with you, Liz. All right, so this one naturally doesn't cross anywhere, right? So this can't be the answer because I just found 2 answers, right? So naturally, this one is going to be the answer because, boom, there's negative 1 and there's 3. Do you see? So this one is the answer, okay? Questions or concerns? I had to clear a mess in the third. All right, so let's move on to number 5. I'm from number 5. All right, number 5. Here we go. Yeah, this is one of the bless the problems, but we're gonna work through it. All right. So we have, it says, what are the x-intercepts of the graph of the equation 32x squared minus 80x plus 50? Most direct way of finding my x-intercepts is what? Quadratic formula. Let's do it, okay? Can I just say A, B, and C like that? Okay. Do I have to write the formula out? Okay. Are you? I'm gonna write the formula out. X equals. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Let's fill the stuff in, okay? So I have negative 80 plus or minus the square root of negative 80 squared minus 4 times 32 times 50 all over 2 times 32. Some of y'all missed points on the constructed response from our quiz because y'all like to leave off the 2A part when you're working it out. And guess what you did on the test? You forgot to add it back on. Don't leave this off. Keep the problem intact. The entire problem, okay? Don't start breaking it up, all right? Bless the children. Okay. Help me out, young people. Can you all calculate what the value is underneath the radical, please? Anybody? Anybody got it? David, why are you double stacking your calculators? Oh, okay. It doesn't work for real, or does it need to be reset? Bring it here, let me see. It might need to be reset. Anybody got it? Alex, that's you? Anybody else get 0? Were you afraid to say anything? Don't be afraid. You're right. It's 0. Good, baby. It's working now. You mad at me because I fixed it? Good sugar. That's fine. I appreciate it. All right, young people. So when we rewrite this, we're going to say equals 80 plus or minus the square root of 0, right? All over 64. We okay? What's the square root of 0? 0. So do I need to do the plus or minus part anymore? No. So we're just going to say 80 over 64. And we're going to pray for these answer choices because the actual answer is not there. So how are we going to reduce this fraction, guys? What's the greatest common factor between 80 and 64? 8. I'll rock with it. I hear you 2, but there's a bigger one than 2, right? Okay, try to go for the biggest one that you think of. I think there's a bigger one, but we're going to thug it out with 8, okay? 8 goes in here how many times? It is 16. It is 16. Okay? But we said 8. That's all right. We're going to say 8, and we're going to keep it moving, okay? 8 goes in here 10 times. 8 goes in here how many times? 8 times, right? And then we can reduce this one more time, right? 2. So it'll be 5 over what? 4. Boom. Notice, young people, and notice also we only have one answer because we didn't have to do the plus or minus thing, right? Notice, bless the paper, that our answer isn't there. So this is what I want you to do. We're going to cross this out, and we're going to say 5 over 4, comma 0 only. Bless the answer choices. Okay? May we proceed? Okay? We're going to go with B because it's the closest one, but it's just terrible that the answer that is supposed to be up there is not. Okay? All right, may I proceed? All right. Number 6. Gotta pan out just a tad. Sorry, y'all. All right, it says a diver, okay? A diver jumps from an approximately 14-foot tall diving board and hits the water about 8 feet away. Okay. The path of the diver is shown below. So here he is right here. Okay. what did it say? 14-foot tall diving board. Here's 14 right here. And choink into the water. Y'all see the water here? This is the water. Isn't that fancy? Mm-hmm. Don't hate. All right. So now the question on the floor says, what is the maximum height that the diver reaches? Well, obviously, I can just look at the picture, right? Yes. Huh? It's a D? Okay. I agree. It's not quite 24. It's up there, but it's not quite 24, is it? Okay. So it'll be answer choice D. Okay. Put an asterisk beside number 7. And we're going to press on to number 8. This looks oblong. Never mind. All right, here we go. Number 8. It says Larry kicks a football up into the air from the ground. Okay? And when you kick a football, how does it do? It goes choink, choink, right? All right? Choink. Yes, that's a clinical term. Look it up. Okay? All right, the graph represents the height of the ball in feet as a function of time in seconds. All right? So as time passes, the ball gets higher or lower, depending on where we are in the time continuum. How long did it take the ball to hit the ground? 4 seconds. Yeah, good. Good. Because there's the starting point, choink, choink, choink. Boom, hits the ground there. All right. So the question on the floor, young people, or the request is, select all of the values that are in the domain of the function represented by the graph. Okay? Select all of the values. So that means that I can select more than one, can't I? All right, cool. So of these young people, which of them are in the domain of the function? Okay? It looks like I started out at time 0, right? And when does time stop? At 4. So which of these answer choices belong in my domain? The domain is a collection of all which values? Is she right? What is the domain? I'll wait. You can look it up. What is the domain?
The X values.
All of the X values, right?
Yes, and then the range is the Y value.
Absolutely. Very good. Bless the children. Okay? So young people, of these answer choices, look y'all, of these answer choices, which of them fit in this domain? My domain looks like it goes from 0 to where? 0 to 4. Which of these fit inside of the domain? 5 is bigger than 4. Would I include 5? Mm-mm. So I'd include this one. Oh, I hear you, baby. D. Which other ones? A. Okay. Any other ones? Are you sure? I can. Why would I be able to include C? Absolutely. 2.5 is right smack dab in the middle, right? Why am I excluding negative 4 seconds? Well, it is less than 0, and more specifically, what else do you know about? What else do you know about it? You can't have negative time. Does that make sense? All right. So we have A, C, and D. May we proceed? All right. All right, guys. Everything okay? All right, let's keep it moving. It says compare the algebraically expressed function. It's most imperative that you pay attention. Thank you. Compare the algebraically expressed function, this one, f of x equals negative 6x squared plus 3x plus 2, to the function shown in the graph below. Young people, this function and this function are two different functions, okay? Two separate functions. We must compare them, okay? And then we have to determine which of these statements is true. All right? Now, the first statement says the algebraic function has a greater maximum value. Well, I don't know what the maximum value of this equation is. What's the maximum value of this one?
8.
Is that true? Look at it.
She's correct, right?
It's 8. That's correct. Okay? So this has a max value of 8. All right? How do I find the maximum value of this one? I could put it into vertex form. I could. Would it be better for us to do? Would it be better for us to do the x equals negative b over 2a? Is that faster?
Yeah.
It is faster. Do you all mind? Okay, let's find the vertex, shall we? So we have x equals negative b over 2a. Everybody okay? And then I have negative 3 over 2 times negative 6. All right? And I know y'all love fractions, but we have to deal. So this will be a positive 1 over 4 is my x value. All right? Right, Josiah?
Yes.
So that means in my vertex, guys, my vertex here, I'm going to write it above it. Move it out the way. My x value is 1 over 4. How do I figure out what my y value is? Just plug it back in. So, young people, let your calculator do the heavy lifting, okay? We're literally going to say negative 6 times 1 over 4 squared plus 3 times 1 over 4 plus 2. It's literally what we're going to say. And that's literally what I'm going to type into my calculator, okay? Y'all gonna help me out? Hmm. Your calculator gave you what? Did anybody else get negative 5 over 8? Just start over. It's not a big deal. Josiah, need you to sit up, please. Here, yeah. Does anybody have any extra calculators nearby? Khalil, will you bring it up, please? Thank you. These don't work. Anybody? You get a calculation? Liz, I'm gonna let you have this one, okay? Give me just a second. It is cute. I'm just double checking, guys. Okay. 19 over 8 is what I got. Here you go, babe. So we put the value here, right? So this max value, hello, is 19 over 8, right? Can somebody give me the decimal approximation of 19 over 8? 2 point who? What'd you say, Janelle? All right, 2.375. So when I compare, it says the algebraic function has a greater maximum value than the graph. Is that true? No. To A then, right? Okay. The graphed function has a greater maximum value. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. I'm going to put a check beside it. Because that's true. And for kicks and giggles, I mean, I got to read on just to double check. Okay? So here's the problem. Okay? I know because of this A value, which way is this parabola pointed? It's pointed downward, right? And we can obviously see that this one is also pointed downward. And whenever it's pointed downward, I remember Chris came up and asked me this. He said when it's pointed downward, I have what type of value? Maximum or minimum? Maximum. And when it's pointed upward, James, I have a what? Minimum. Look at what they're saying in C and D. They're talking about minimum values, and these don't have minimum values, do they? So, goodbye. Delete. They're out. So my answer would have to be answer choice what, Khalil? Answer choice B. Does that make sense? Thank you for paying attention. All right, let's proceed. All right, now, number 10. This is a similar problem. It says, compare the function represented by the graph to the function represented by the table to determine which statement is true. All right. Do you see a breakpoint? It's hard to see. Y'all, that's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 4. 20. 46. Yeah, this is really weird. But I can tell that this is my break point, right? Although everything isn't matching up. This is really weird. No me gusta. But we'll press on. Let's see what we can make of this, okay? It says, compare the function represented by the graph to the function represented by the table to determine which statement is true. Statement A says, the tabled function has a lower minimum value. Well, look at our y values. Okay? The minimum value would actually be between these two here, right? Okay? What's the minimum value for our graphed function? That's a -3, right? Okay? So which one has a lower minimum value? The table or the graph? The graph. The graph. So goodbye, answer choice A. Okay? Answer choice B says the graphed function, pay attention please. James, is there something wrong? Yes, there is if your head is down. The graphed function has a lower minimum value. Okay? Actually, that's true. And why am I ignoring C and D? Because what, babe? Because it's asking for maximum value. And we don't have maximum values in this situation, do we? Come on, Court. Yeah, I do. Okay? Any questions at this point? All right, let's press on. It seems that I've made a mistake and tried to teach in the middle of your conversations. I'll wait. Number 11. It says a soccer player kicks a ball with an initial velocity of 40 feet per second. We've done problems. We did a whole slew of these problems last Thursday, didn't we? Okay? With an initial velocity of 40 feet per second from starting height of 0 feet. Use the vertical motion model, h equals negative 0.5 at squared plus vt plus s, where v is the velocity in feet per second. S is the height. Everything okay over there? S is the height in feet, and where a is the acceleration due to gravity, 32 feet per second squared. All right, cool. To calculate how long it would take for the ball to hit the ground. Okay. They want us to figure out how long this thing's going to take to hit the ground. All right, so let's plug in the stuff that we have. First of all, we have the equation h equals negative 0.5 at squared plus vt plus s. Do we have this information? Sure we do. They said that a was, let's see, soccer ball kicks, a soccer player, come on. A soccer player kicks a ball with an initial velocity of 40 feet per second. So velocity stands for what? Okay, it's speed, right? But they said v is velocity in feet per second. So that's where I would put 40, right? Hello? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say plus 40t. Got that information. And then it goes on to say v is the velocity, s is the height in feet. Okay, initial velocity of 40, s is height in feet, where a is acceleration due to gravity. This is so distracting. A is acceleration due to gravity. All right, so a is 32 feet per second squared, right? So I'm going to replace a with 32. So this is